Within the Yautja universe, there are many stories of hunters, elders, and clans. They range from video games, novels, comic books, and films, each one expanding on various characters or events in time. Most of the lore is based around a single character going on a hunt, but there are some rare stories about hunting parties which include many Yautja members. During the ending of the film Predator 2, we saw the flintlock pistol that Greyback gave to Mike Harrigan. It dated back to 1715, and on it, we saw the engraved name of Raphael Adolini. This film was released on November of 1990. The novel was then released in December of 1990. It had the date of 1640 on the pistol. Then we have the comic book adaptation that was released in 1991. This recounted the events of the movie, but with some minor changes. During the ending, one predator gives Harrigan the old flintlock pistol, but it's a bit different. We can see the name of Vito della Mirandella, Anno Domini 1640. Then we have the comic book of 1718, which was released in 1996. This tells the story of Raphael fighting against the pirates from his ship. They rebelled against their captain because he disapproved of them stealing gold from the church. We get to see Greyback Predator watching them from a distance. He then joins in and fights alongside Raphael. Raphael is then shot in the back by a pirate, who is then killed by the Predator. But before Raphael dies, he gives his pistol to Greyback and says, "Take it." It's also shown that the name on the comic book story shows Raphael's first and last name spelled a little differently. His name reads Raphael with an F instead of PH, and the last name is Adolini. There's a letter N after the letter A, whereas the other name on the 1715 pistol reads Raphael Adolini, but most of us are still accepting this as the same person. The film version of Predator 2 says Raphael Adolini 1715. Then, the movie Prey, which takes place in a timeline of 1719, also has the same date and name. So where did this year 1640 and alternate name of Vito della Mirandella come from? Why is the comic book adaptation of Predator 2 and the novel show a different year? Well, there is an answer to this, and here's what I found. The script for the film Predator 2 had undergone many revisions before it was finalized. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but I was able to find one script had documented when each revision was made. It shows that there were around 12 revisions to the script from January 26, 1990 to May 15th of 1990. So that's about 4 months in between. There's only a few script versions that were available online to look over. The second draft, which dates back to December 15th, 1989, says this about the pistol scene. Harrigan falls to his back, now barely able to breathe, as the other predators move in around him. Suddenly, the floor beneath him begins to descend, pulling away, dropping from the ship into the blackness below. As it does, the Greyback reaches behind him, tossing some object onto the platform with Harrigan. It's not until Harrigan escapes the spacecraft and it takes off that he looks down at the object given to him, and it says this. Harrigan slowly looks down, seeing on the floor the engraved silver and wood forestock of a 17th century matchlock pistol. He picks up the pistol, turning it over in his hands, seeing the name and date engraved into the silver, the name in Italian, the date 1640, the object the Greyback threw as Harrigan left the ship. The script that was used for shooting the film is from January 16th of 1990. It then changes this scene. It's a bit more accurate to what we saw in the film, but with the date of 1640. Here's how that scene goes after the change. Reaching behind him, the Greyback grabs something, removing an object which he throws to Harrigan. Harrigan catches it, slowly looking down, seeing the engraved silver and wood forestock of a 17th century matchlock pistol. He turns it over in his hands, seeing a name and date engraved into the silver, the name in Italian, the date 1640. But even that version was revised afterwards a couple of more times. Now, another version that was labeled as final script only shows the dialogue. After Harrigan receives the pistol from Greyback, he turns it over, and now the date reads 1715. But none of the early scripts or even the revisions ever had the name Vito della Mirandella which we saw in the comic book of Predator 2. I was able to track down when the date of 1640 appeared in the script, but that name does not seem to be listed in the sources that I looked into unless I missed it somewhere. Since we're looking at the other versions of the script, I found 3 from December 15th, 1989, January 16th, 1990, and May 15th, 1990 that share an extended scene with King Willy using an Uzi weapon in the alley. This is also shown in the comic book and the novel of Predator 2, but as for the actual film, this scene was either cut or never filmed. The novel goes into a bit more detail about Jerry Lambert's past. We hear his nickname is the Lone Ranger from Rampart Station. This goes back to when he attended his first week on the job. He came across 4 heavily armed men robbing a bank. He should have called for backup, but he didn't. Instead, he took them all down by himself. He was then given a commendation by the mayor. A few versions of the script have this information. It's worded in different ways, but overall giving the same story. And as for the movie, we never got to hear his backstory during the film. Some of you might be wondering why the city hunter did not pick up his biomask after Harrigan removed it off his face. During the movie, when Harrigan is tossed away by the predator, we see the biomask sliding along the floor and it stops, but it's never recovered. The script actually had a different scene for this part. It says the biomask went down a blood drain, clattering down the flue. That's another difference that the movie did not include off the script, but the novel did mention this. Early versions of the script for the movie did have a slightly different ending. After the city hunter is defeated by Mike Harrigan, it's severely damaged but still alive. I looked at the script from December 15th, 1989, and it's the same ending as the script from May 15th of 1990. Other members from its group show up and surround him. The leader Greyback shows up and finishes off the city hunter. This ending can also be found in the novel of Predator 2. There's a bunch of other differences from the script to the novel and to the film, but those are the major things that I wanted to point out. You can see how the writers had a lot of ideas for the story, how character development was expanded upon or looked into even just a bit, but when it came to the film, a lot of that stuff never made it into the movie. And that covers the topic around the year 1640 that appeared on the pistol of the comic book from Predator 2. Since it was mentioned in the script from early on and also in the novel, it seems like this was the original date they planned, but it was changed sometime near the end for 1715. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.